कोई अगर घर से भागने की कोशिश की है किसी ने अगर, तो वो इट्स एन एक्ट ऑफ ब्रेवरी. किडनैपिंग, रेप, assault, grievous hurt, theft, robbery, dacoity, cheating. Like young adults are a very big part of that group which is involved in cybercrimes. How are we preparing a child or a young person to face the outside world when the child or that person is in the institution? Because that was the purpose of that institution. If their needs were not attended to at the right time, तो वही बच्चा जो नीड एंड केयर एंड प्रोटेक्शन वाला बच्चा है वो चाइल्ड इन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट विद लॉ हो जाता है. घर में बहुत डिस्ट्रैक्शंस हैं, घर में देखने वाला कोई नहीं है, सुपरविजन नहीं है, तो इसको संस्था में डाल देते हैं, वहाँ उसकी पढ़ाई हो जाए. जो स्कोलास्टिकली बैकवर्ड चिल्ड्रन हमारे स्कूल सिस्टम में हैं, दे आर यूजुअली ट्रीटेड एज डम किड्स. गधे हैं, बुद्धू हैं, इस तरह का उनके साथ ओपनली बात होती है. क्लास में उनको इंसल्ट किया जाता है सबके सामने, ये इसको कुछ नहीं आता. हाउ यंग बॉयज फ्रॉम फीमेल हेडेड हाउसहोल्ड्स मूव आउट इनटू द एरिया इन सर्च ऑफ मेल रोल मॉडल्स, एंड द ओनली रोल मॉडल्स दे गेट इन दोज एरिया आर यंग मेन who are involved in illegal activities.
Bhugresh Chandra Aman is a final year student at the Center of Excellence in Teacher Education, Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. He is currently hosting Professor Vijay Raghavan. Professor Vijay Raghavan is a distinguished academic and social work practitioner at the Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai, where he serves as a professor at the Center for Criminology and Justice at the School of Social Work. Since 2005, he has been contributing to TISS, including his role as the project director of Prayas, a field action project focused on the legal rights and social reintegration of individuals affected by the criminal justice system, particularly women, children, and youth. He has also been recognized with the Influential Scholar Award at the International Human Trafficking and Social Justice Conference in 2021.
Good evening, sir. Welcome to our podcast.
Hello.
So today we have Dr. Vijay Raghavan with us, who is also a professor of criminology and justice from the School of Social Work. तो जैसा कि हम सब जानते हैं, WHO के अनुसार 10 से 19 साल के लोग एडोलेसेंट कहलाते हैं, और काफ़ी हद में हमने ऐसे देखा है कि हम लोग एडोलेसेंस के बारे में बहुत कम हद तक जान पाते हैं, स्पेशली व्हेन इट्स रिलेटेड टू क्राइम्स एंड criminals in these worlds.
हम लोगों ने इसको थोड़ा बहुत have tried to bring it down towards children and education. So where do these children who commit crimes go for their education? उनके शिक्षा के साथ क्या होता है सर?
Okay. So सबसे पहले बात यह है कि जो बच्चे या adolescents या youth कह लीजिए, जो भी आप सब थोड़ा ऐसे these categories they flow into each other.
Yes, sir.
आप उनको एजुकेशन सिस्टम से अलग देख ही नहीं सकते, क्योंकि वो यही बच्चे हैं, यही यूथ हैं, यही एडोलेसेंट्स हैं जो आप और हमारे जैसे कभी ना कभी स्कूल गए हैं. लेकिन जब आप देखते हैं कि when you see the profile of children or young adults who are in institutions either as children in conflict with law, which is a category under the Juvenile Justice Act, or as young adult offenders in our prisons. Almost all prisons in India and abroad, they have separate section for young adults. These are youth in the age group of, let's say, 18 to 21. So when you look at all these, what is the profile that emerges of these young people?
Yes.
Again, we will have to disaggregate on the basis of gender. If you are looking at males, then you will find that most of them have dropped out of schooling at the secondary level. That means 7वीं 8वीं तक पढ़ाई की है उन्होंने और उसके बाद स्कूल से ड्रॉप आउट हो गए हैं. इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि सभी इसी लेवल पे हैं. इसमें you will also find people who have completed 10th or 12th or even gone up to graduation levels. And then something has happened because of which they have had to drop out of education. And when you come and look at girls or women, the situation is a worse kind of a picture. There, the dropout rates would be probably even happening at the primary level. And these children have, or girls have dropped out at maybe class 2, 3, 4, 5 levels, and fewer of them would have gone up to the secondary level, and very few of them would have even crossed class 10th. That's the profile of these children. So when you ask a question कि connection क्या है, तो बहुत गहरा connection है कि ये जो बच्चे हैं ये एजुकेशन सिस्टम से क्यों ड्रॉप आउट हो गए. ये एक बहुत बड़ा सवाल है जिसको हमें देखना पड़ेगा इफ़ यू वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड द कनेक्शन बिटवीन क्राइम एंड एजुकेशन.
थैंक यू सर. सर थोड़ा कैन यू शेड सम लाइट ऑन यंग अडल्ट ऑफेंडर्स, व्हाट दीज आर?
सो इट ऑल डिपेंड्स ऑन यंग अडल्ट ऑफेंडर्स को आप कैसे डिफाइन कर रहे हो. They could be below 18 years of age, in which case you are talking about in law who are called as minors.
Yes sir.
And they could be above 18 years of age, and typically young adults are seen in the age group of, let's say, if you don't go at the legal definition, anyone in the age group of say 15, 16 to 21, 22, 23. That's the age group that one is talking about. Now, who are these young adults who have either been termed as alleged offenders, मतलब अभी उनके ऊपर क्राइम जो है वो साबित नहीं हुआ है, और who could be called as under trials, or those who have been convicted. That means उनके ऊपर जो क्राइम है वो साबित हुआ है in law. तो आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि क्राइम भी अलग अलग किस्म के होते हैं ना. तो एक पर्टिकुलर यू कैन नॉट, क्राइम इज़ नॉट अ होमोजेनस कैटेगरी. हाँ, तो सबसे पहले आपको देखना पड़ेगा कि इन ब्रॉडली इन criminology you would look at crimes as in different categories. One is crimes against persons, where crimes like kidnapping, rape, assault, grievous hurt, all this would come under that. Sexual assault, all these are crimes against persons. Then you have crimes against property, जिसमें कि theft, robbery, dacoity, cheating, इस तरह के, जहाँ पे objective is profit. मोटिव जो है वो प्रॉफिट है. जहाँ पे व्हेन यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट क्राइम्स अगेंस्ट पर्सन्स, मोटिव मे नॉट बी प्रॉफिट, मे बी प्रॉफिट, मे नॉट बी प्रॉफिट. जैसे आपको किसी से झगड़ा हो गया, किसी इशू को लेके मारपीट हो गई, एंड फिर आपने किसी को मारा और उसको इतनी ज़ोर से लगा कि उसका हड्डी टूट गई, तो फिर वो असॉल्ट का केस बन जाता है, राइट. तो उसमें कोई प्रॉफिट मोटिव नहीं था, उनके बीच में किसी बात को लेके झगड़ा हो गया. सो दैट इज़ द सेकेंड कैटेगरी. देन यू हैव crimes like cyber crimes, which is largely being like young adults are a very big part of that group which is involved in cyber crimes. You must have seen so many web series, which are being made on these kind of cyber crimes that we are talking about.
Yes, so like Jamtara and all.
Yeah, Jamtara and all. Yeah. Then of course, then you also have crimes against women and girls as one category, of young men who are treating women in particular ways, which is leading them to get later on termed as offenders. So this could be as simple as crimes where there is what we often call under the category which we call as eve teasing. वहाँ से शुरू करके you have a whole range of crimes up to serious rape offenses that you can look at. You can look at domestic violence as another form of. Now, who are the people who are committing these crimes? Now, the profile of each of these categories of crimes is not the same. So, if you look at, say, for example, crimes against persons, depending on the type of crime that is committed, often it is a result of, what we call as crimes of passion. That means it is a result of anger, or some kind of hurt or conflict between two people, two communities, two castes, and then you get involved in those kind of offenses, land disputes, things of that sort. When you're looking at crimes against property, then you're of course looking at largely people who are coming from a lower socioeconomic category. So then you are looking at people who are into it because of certain economic necessities, where या तो उनके हाथ से कुछ हो गया, जैसे कोई एक चीज़ की ज़रूरत थी और वो उनके पास नहीं था, और फिर उसके बाद उन्होंने they were part of a group which got involved in some kind of crime. Or when you talk about crimes against women, then we are talking about societal attitudes towards women. We are talking about the issue of masculinities. We are talking about issues like patriarchy. And वहाँ पे I think all of us are in the same boat. It is just that some people will get caught and the others will not get caught, right? Depends on what is the extent to which you have engaged in some kind of behavior which has led your matter to reach the police station. Once it reaches the police station, then a case gets registered. Once it gets registered, then you get arrested, right?
Yes.
So, but it is not as if they are the only people who are representative of that kind of behavior or that kind of attitude. It is present in all of us, in lesser or to a greater degree. Then when you are looking at crimes like financial frauds, or you are looking at cyber crimes, there you will see that the educational profile is rising. Because those kind of crimes are largely committed by people who have a better educational background, and there it could be a question of aspirations, that I want more money in life, I have better dreams of myself, I am unemployed, I am not able to get the kind of job that I want in my life, and this is a way by which I can do it. Say for example, in this category you will also find people who are into hacking, for example.
Yes, sir.
Including maybe ethical hackers, right?
Yes, sir.
Who actually are committing an offense, but they are doing it for a cause. Then what about youth who are involved in let's say crimes like, say, in the red zone of India, Maoist belt, or in northeast or in Kashmir. They are also young people, right?
Definitely.
But they are not necessarily doing it for either profit or for any passionate reason, but they are doing it for a so-called altruistic purpose. They have consciously got into it and saying we are doing it for our homeland, or we are doing it for say the tribal population and things of that sort. Usme there can be an element of profit motive also, because there in all these secessionist movements you will also see an element of corruption creeping in, where there is a group which is also making money out of it, right? And there are also vested interests involved in it. And in that process you will always find young people who are being used by the people who are running these so-called rackets.
Yes.
Finally, the issue of organized crime. My PhD was on entry and exit of youth in organized crime. So what happens to people who are in organized crime? Young people as young as 15, 16, 17, 18, how do they get pulled into organized crime? Who pulls them in? And my thesis showed that there are latent and manifest factors. And there are three sides of criminalization. There is workplace as a site of criminalization, there is the area of residence as a site of criminalization, and there is prison as a site of criminalization. So who gets pulled in at what point of time is something that will require a little more deeper discussions.
Yeah, definitely, sir. Sir, so like coming towards children's especially, so like where do they these juvenile centers or like these correctional homes have schools inside of them?
See, this is a very important question. We somehow have categorized our children into two categories when we are talking about this group which you are referring to. One is a category of children who are so-called children in need of care and protection.
Yes, sir.
As per the Juvenile Justice Act. Who are the children in need of care and protection? Any child who is orphan or living on the streets, or single parent child, or a child who needs more care and things. A child of a prisoner left outside, a child of a woman in prostitution, where the child is vulnerable. So this entire group, children with disabilities, their entire group is seen as child in need of care and protection. Now for this group, the strategy to deal with them under the law is to produce them before a child welfare committee, and then the child welfare committee is supposed to find out whether the child has a family to look after that child, or in the absence of a family, find a foster care family, and if that is also not possible, then to put the child into an institution till they complete 18 years of age. And during this period, they are expected that these children will be put through the education system. So most of these children do go to school. Either the school is an in-house school within the institutional complex, or there are children who are going out in the morning, going to school and coming back in the evening, right? We have such institutions just near TISS campus. There's Chembur Children's Home and there is Bal Kalyan Nagari, where these are institutions where children go to school and come back in the evening, right? Now, there is this other group of children who are so-called children in conflict with law. Now, the same child, there's a high likelihood that the child who is a child in need of care and protection tomorrow becomes a child in conflict with law. If their needs were not attended to at the right time, तो वही बच्चा जो need and care and protection वाला बच्चा है, वो child in conflict with law हो जाता है, क्योंकि उसको सही समय पे सही प्रकार के जो support मिलनी चाहिए वो नहीं मिलता है. अब इस बच्चे को आप treat करते हो like a criminal. So then you are put into the observation home. You're under the custody of the Juvenile Justice Board, which consists of one magistrate and two social work members. And in most probability, they would be put into an institution which is called a certified institution, जहाँ पे vocational training will be the focus rather than education. So what has happened over a period of time is, for really the poorest of the poor, the institutions are serving as nothing but boarding schools. I'm talking of children in need of care and protection. They are serving as boarding schools for families of poor families, because they cannot afford to, for some reason, psychological, social, economic reason, combination of factors, like a single woman who doesn't have the support systems available. She is probably working in 10 houses, and she decides that it is better off if my child goes into an institution. So she goes to the child welfare committee and she requests that मेरे बच्चे को संस्था में ले लो. In her mind, she is not seeing this child as an institutional child, but she is seeing this child as पढ़ाई वहाँ अच्छी होगी. जो मेरा बच्चा घर में नहीं पढ़ पा रहा है, घर में बहुत डिस्ट्रैक्शंस हैं, घर में देखने वाला कोई नहीं है, सुपरविजन नहीं है, तो इसको संस्था में डाल देते हैं, वहाँ उसकी पढ़ाई हो जाएगी. So how is that mother treating that institution? Like a boarding school. Definitely. Okay. Now, when it comes to the other group that I'm talking about, child in conflict with law, उनको तो उसका भी पात्र नहीं समझा जा रहा है कि इसको education देना चाहिए. Same way that you are thinking of education for child in conflict with law, इसको कुछ हाथ का काम सिखा दो, इसको वायरिंग सिखा दो, इसको इलेक्ट्रिकल काम सिखा दो, AC रिपेयर सिखा दो, कारपेंट्री सिखा दो, बिकॉज ये पढ़ना नहीं चाहता. Now the real thing that we need to look at the entire group of children is, like I said, the first thing, most of these children have dropped out of education. So we have to go to that reason. क्यों drop out हुए ये बच्चे? उसके क्या कारण है? उसमें फैमिली सर्कमस्टांसेस का कितना परसेंटेज आप डालोगे कि घर की परिस्थिति ही ऐसी है कि जहाँ पढ़ना बहुत मुश्किल है. हो सकता है कि आप जिस एरिया में रहते हो फुटपाथ पे रहते हो, तो वहाँ पे आप कैसे पढ़ाई करोगे. हाँ, और आपका जो आसपास का जो एनवायरनमेंट है वो सब वर्किंग क्लास लोग हैं
Yes.
और बहुत कम उम्र से लोग काम पे लग जाते हैं। तो पढ़ने के लिए जो मोटिवेशन चाहिए वो मोटिवेशन आपके वातावरण में है ही नहीं। आप ऑल योर रोल मॉडल्स आर पीपल जो 15-16 होते होते काम पे लग जाते हैं। तो आप भी सोचते हो पढ़ लिख के क्या होने वाला है। घर का एनवायरनमेंट भी ऐसा है कि वहाँ पे पढ़ने लिखने की कोई मतलब इनकरेजमेंट नहीं है। दूसरा फैक्टर, स्कूल में हाउ आर दीज चिल्ड्रन बीइंग ट्रीटेड? Okay, if there are children coming from real poverty backgrounds, how are those children being treated vis-a-vis other children who are coming to that school? And I'm assuming that we are talking about public schooling. Municipal school है, जिला परिषद का स्कूल है, वहाँ पे भी you can see class working, कि उसमें थोड़े better off बच्चे भी आएंगे और थोड़े जो बिल्कुल जो कम लेवल के हैं वो भी बच्चे आएंगे। स्कूल में उनको कैसा ट्रीटमेंट दिया जा रहा है? Then there could be many of these children with probably learning disabilities. हो सकता है डिसलेक्सिया है किसी को, लेकिन वो डायग्नोस ही नहीं होता है। उसको बुद्धू मान के उसको ट्रीट किया जाता है, उसको मारपीट की जाती है उसके साथ। जो स्कोलास्टिकली बैकवर्ड चिल्ड्रन हमारे स्कूल सिस्टम में हैं, they are usually treated as dumb kids. गधे हैं, बुद्धू हैं, इस तरह का उनके साथ ओपनली बात होती है। क्लास में उनको इंसल्ट किया जाता है सबके सामने, ये इसको कुछ नहीं आता, यू नो। सो व्हाट डज दैट डू टू दैट चाइल्ड? व्हाई शुड दैट चाइल्ड वांट टू रिमेन इन स्कूल व्हेन देयर इज एन ऑप्शन फॉर दैट चाइल्ड कि मैं काम पे लग जाऊँ। काम पे लग जाऊँगा तो मेरी खुद की कमाई शुरू हो जाएगी, मैं घर वालों को सपोर्ट कर पाऊँगा और मेरा फ्रीडम और ऑटोनॉमी आ जाएगा, जो अभी मेरे पास नहीं है। So we need to really look at who are the children who are dropping out, why are they dropping out, okay, and has there been a study done on what are the reasons? So actually there could be a very good study to look at the profile of these children who are in these institutions, trace when they dropped out of school, what were the reasons why they dropped out of school. Even through pure interviewing of those children, one could just make a informed guess कि क्या reasons थे वो बच्चा स्कूल से क्यों निकल गया। कई बच्चे हैं कि समझ में ही नहीं आता क्लास में क्या हो रहा है।
Yes, sir.
पढ़ने में कोई इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं है, बिकॉज जो पढ़ाया जा रहा है वो हमको पता ही नहीं क्या पढ़ाया जा रहा है। कई हैं जो विक्टिम्स ऑफ अब्यूज़, उनको बहुत मारा गया है स्कूल में, तो इसलिए वो स्कूल नहीं जाना चाहते, स्कूल से भाग गए। इतना मार पड़ा कि स्कूल से भाग गए, फिर कभी वापस नहीं आए स्कूल में। और कई हैं कि उनका खुद का वातावरण उनको बोल रहा है कि जल्दी से जल्दी तुम काम करना शुरू करो, स्कूल में जाके कुछ नहीं होगा। और फिर ये बच्चे जो हैं हैंगिंग आउट इन सर्टन कंपनी, जिसको जैसे देयर इज़ अ कॉन्सेप्ट विच वन ऑफ माई PhD students, Priyanka Kode, has written about. Her PhD was on young boys in observation home who were arrested in sexual assault cases. तो एक कॉन्सेप्ट उसने लिखा है जिसके बारे में रोमिंग, घूमना। बहुत ये जो लड़के हैं ये बहुत कम उम्र से घूमने लगते थे,
Exactly, yes, sir.
दूसरे लड़कों के साथ रात तक देर से वापस आना, घर में रिबेल करना, एंड उसको ठीक से अटेंड नहीं किया गया बिकॉज रिसोर्सेज ही नहीं है। ऐसे दीज आर रिसोर्स पुअर फैमिलीज, वेयर डू दे हैव द रिसोर्सेज टू पे द काइंड ऑफ अटेंशन विच families like yours and mine would get at home. So if there is a boy or a girl showing deviance at home at an early age, the family would do something about it. At least they would try to do whatever they can, right? But यहाँ पे वो उसके लिए टाइम नहीं है, लोग नहीं है घर में। वो अकेली माँ शायद 4 बच्चों को पाल रही है, मुश्किल से घर का काम पूरा कर रही है। उसमें से एक लड़का जो है बड़ा होता जा रहा है, और जैसे जैसे बड़ा होता जा रहा है उसका रिबेलियसनेस बढ़ रहा है, बिकॉज घर में मेल रोल मॉडल नहीं है। there is a theory in criminology which talks about this, how young boys from female headed households move out into the area in search of male role models, and the only role models they get in those area are young men who are involved in illegal activities. So for them, getting involved in illegal activities or getting involved in crime becomes a matter of normalization of crime. They don't necessarily see it as crime, but they see it as part of the growing up process. You know कि बड़े होने का जो एक प्रोसेस होता है ना, कि एक बच्चे से एक मर्द कैसे बनना है, उस प्रोसेस में ये पूरा जो है इन्वॉल्वमेंट इन फाइट्स, गेटिंग इन्वॉल्व इन ग्रुप एक्टिविटीज़, then getting into gambling, then maybe getting into drinking binges, and it's all seen as masculinity and growing up process, right? घर पे भी रिस्पॉन्स ये रहता है कि लड़का बिगड़ रहा है. Okay, I want to bring in one small angle here, that there is no word in our local Indian languages of the word delinquency. You find a word. हिंदी में है delinquency का कोई translation क्या है?
It's like in general terms घर का लड़का बिगड़ रहा है.
बिगड़ना वर्ड है, आउटलाइन वर्ड है, गलत लाइन वर्ड है. सो गोइंग एस्ट्रे जो इंग्लिश में हम बोलते हैं, उसका इक्विवेलेंट कल्चर में है, इंडियन कल्चर में. बट डेलिंक्वेंसी का शब्द का कल्चर में है ही नहीं. दैट मीन्स वी ट्रीटेड आवर चिल्ड्रन हिस्टोरिकली इन ए वेरी डिफरेंट वे. वी डिडंट ट्रीट देम एज क्रिमिनल्स, वी ट्रीटेड देम एज समबडी हु हैज गॉन एस्ट्रे. एंड उसको ठीक करने का तरीका क्या होता था पहले ज़माने में? मार के अलावा, मार तो सबको मिलता था.
Either send them to a boarding or get
बोर्डिंग में भेज दो, चाचा के घर भेज दो, उसका एरिया बदल दो, या ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा उसकी शादी करा दो. शादी करा देंगे तो ठीक हो जाएगा.
Yes, sir.
You know, this was the way in which we dealt with deviance. So, and then we came this colonial construct, starting from the Children's Act, which was passed before independence.
Yes.
And then you had state acts. Up till 1984, you had state acts. Every state had its own Children's Act. And these Children's Act was totally the institutional setup. So children would be, the objective was to institutionalize children, which was not a cultural tradition in our context. Right? It came from the colonial construct. And that process has continued till today. From 84, a national law was made, which was the Juvenile Justice Act of 1984. Then another new act came in 2000, and then a new act came in 2015. The 2015 is the one which criminalized young boys in the age group of 16 to 18 in the case of heinous crimes.
Sexual extortion. So like moving on towards the life of these children, ये इंस्टीट्यूशनल सेटअप्स में बच्चों की ज़िंदगी कैसे होती है जो वहाँ पे भेज दिए जाते हैं आफ्टर द ऑफेंड?
It's a mixed picture, I would say. There would be differing views on this. There would be those who would talk about all the human rights violations taking place inside these institutions. वहाँ violence है, institutional violence है, sexual abuse है, all the portrayals that you see in the media of these institutions are, a very negative portrayal of these institutions, जहाँ sex abuse होता है, बड़े लड़के दूसरे लड़कों को sexually exploit करते हैं, दादागिरी है, institutional staff बहुत inhuman है, मारते हैं, खाना ठीक से नहीं मिलता, corruption है. So that's one picture. Okay. Then you have another picture where institutions have provided guidance and direction and changing lives of people. There is this whole association of children who have come out of institutions after completing 18 years of age, and उनका association है, महाराष्ट्र लेवल पे भी है और दूसरे लेवल पे भी है, and they are called youth care leavers. There's a concept called youth care leavers, मतलब जो institution से निकल के बाहर आए हैं, now they are care leavers. So they were in care institutions, now they have left those institutions. उनके बहुत सारे problems हैं, starting from the fact that they have a huge problem even to establish their identity. क्योंकि आपको शुरुआत से आधार कार्ड से होगा ना, आजकल तो वहीं से शुरुआत होती है, या आपको जो भी सर्टिफिकेट्स चाहिए वो आपको आपके घर से मिलता है, तो ये बच्चे कहाँ से उनका सर्टिफिकेट कहाँ से मिलेगा? तो उसके लिए एक when you leave an institution you are supposed to get a certificate saying that you are a member of this institution. लेकिन अगर उनको कास्ट सर्टिफिकेट चाहिए जो बहुत ज़रूरी है, if they have to avail of reservations or provisions for welfare of SC, ST, OBCs, वो कास्ट सर्टिफिकेट उनका कैसे बनेगा, उनका रेशन कार्ड कैसे बनेगा? सो जो सवाल आपका ये था कि इंस्टीट्यूशन में क्या हो रहा है, तो ऐसे बहुत सारे यूथ हैं जो बाहर आने के बाद जिन्होंने अपनी ज़िंदगी को बदला है, और वो उसकी शुरुआत अंदर से मिली है, क्योंकि वो स्कूल गए, भले उनको उतना मतलब कई प्रॉब्लम्स का भी झेलना पड़ा, लेकिन उनका कैरेक्टर बिल्डिंग हुआ, उनमें रिजिलियंस पैदा हुआ, एडवर्स सर्कमस्टांसेस को झेलने की उनकी कैपेसिटी बनी, और फिर वो पढ़ाई करते गए, 10th पास किया, 12th पास किया, कॉलेज गए. इसमें बहुत सारे लोग हैं, देयर आर मेनी सक्सेस स्टोरीज. वी हैव a success story in our own campus. One of these care leavers completed his PhD from TISS, and I'm saying this because he doesn't have a problem talking about it, because otherwise I would be breaching the confidentiality clause.
So the success stories in terms of other contexts like US and all also, there's this system where athletes are coming from. How India ke मामले में are we incubating this talent towards?
Unfortunately no, but there are some very good experiments in the NGO sector. For example, you have this very famous institution called the SOS Village. It's a system that has come from abroad, where they have this house master system. So instead of children living in a institution, every 7 or 8 kids would be living in one house, which will have a house mother and so it's functioning like a family, like a foster family, and then they would be siblings, भाई बहन के जैसे वो बड़े होंगे, और फिर it's a very successful model. वहाँ के बच्चे बहुत आगे बढ़े हैं, बहुत. दूसरी बात है कि जब हम संस्थाओं की बात करते हैं, इंस्टीट्यूशंस की, हमारे दिमाग में ना वो खाली वो गवर्नमेंट रन इंस्टीट्यूशन का पिक्चर सामने आता है, और वो भी जो पिक्चरों में दिखाया गया है. बट संस्थाएं बहुत अलग किस्म के हैं. देर आर सो मेनी गुड इंस्टीट्यूशंस बीइंग रन बाय गवर्नमेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स एज वेल एज बाय द NGO सेक्टर, एंड दे हैव मेनी सक्सेस स्टोरीज. आप जिसकी बात कर रहे हो ना, इसकी बात मतलब यू नीड अ मेंटरशिप प्रोग्राम फॉर दैट, यू नीड अ विजन फॉर दैट. वो विजन अगर है किसी में तो ये सब हो सकता है, बिकॉज दीज बॉयज एंड गर्ल्स आर वेरी टैलेंटेड पीपल. सी, आप एक बात समझ के लो, कोई अगर घर से भागने की कोशिश की है किसी ने अगर, तो वो इट्स एन एक्ट ऑफ ब्रेवरी, इजंट इट? इट्स नॉट सो ईजी. आप हम सब को घर में बहुत चीज़ पसंद नहीं होता है, लेकिन हम में वो हिम्मत नहीं होती कि हम घर छोड़ के निकल जाएं खुली दुनिया में, देखा जाएगा क्या होगा. हाउ डज अ चाइल्ड गेट आउट ऑफ द हाउस, टेक अ ट्रेन एंड लैंड अप इन VT स्टेशन? मस्ट रिक्वायर सम गट्स, राइट? सो दीज चिल्ड्रन आर नॉट ऑर्डिनरी चिल्ड्रन, दे आर समथिंग आउट ऑफ द ऑर्डिनरी. हो सकता है रास्ता उनका गलत हो गया, क्योंकि सही समय पे कोई उनको दिखाने वाला नहीं मिला, कोई मेंटर नहीं मिला, कोई केयर टेकर नहीं मिला. But all these children have a lot of potential, which is not unfortunately being seen by the system per se. And the reason is not the people who are managing those institutions. I would say the reason lies with the policy makers, who continue to see these children as children who need to be managed, rather than as children who can be future proud citizens of this country. So that transformation will require doubling, tripling, quadrupling the kind of resources that are being put in there. You just look at the state of some of these institutions in terms of resources in terms of infrastructure. There is shortage of staffing. 50% vacancies. There are no posts of social workers. Posts are lying vacant. Caretakers are supposed to be there. जितने होने चाहिए उससे आधे ही हैं. तो इस सिचुएशन में कैसे भी करके वो मैनेज कर रहे हैं, और उनमें से कई लोग अच्छे भी हैं जो बहुत अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं, कुछ लोग हैं जो मिसयूज़ भी कर रहे हैं. वो मिक्स्ड पिक. इसलिए मैंने कहा कि इंस्टीट्यूशंस की जब आप बात करेंगे तो इसको एक ब्रश से पेंट करना इम्पॉसिबल है. इसमें बहुत वैरायटी है. इसमें सोशल सेक्टर, NGO सेक्टर के इंस्टीट्यूशंस हैं. मैं ये भी नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि जो सब NGO सेक्टर में सब ठीक है, कि वहाँ भी बहुत प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. वहाँ भी चाइल्ड अब्यूज़ है, वहाँ पे सेक्शुअल अब्यूज़ है. यू मे हैव हर्ड ऑफ द बिहार Muzaffarpur shelter home case,
yes,
which was unearthed by our own TIS Field Action Project Koshish. That was entirely by the private sector. That entire scam was happening in private institutions. And that is where today they are also talking of the concept of social audit. That whole scam was unearthed because the government of Bihar asked TISS to conduct a social audit of all the institutions.
Shelter homes.
And when they did the social audit, they came across these shocking stories, which was then, after that the कार्रवाई हुई, Supreme Court तक matter गया and all of that. So it's not as if कि NGO sector means everything is good and government means everything is bad. It's a mixed picture.
Definitely, sir.
Sir, just one question I have. जो instincts होते हैं to do anything, उसको, because this story of this movie called Jhund also, which is on a teacher who brought these kids who were doing crimes into like these उनके instinct जो थे उनको expression उन्होंने किसी और माध्यम से दिया.
Correct.
So that is one way of educating these children or tapering down these instincts, or at least finding that expression. So उस मामले में
see, I won't even use the word instinct.
We have also a similar question that what role can schools and colleges play in making these children feel included again?
Okay. I would not use the word instinct, I would rather say the word use energy. There are children with lot of energy, and are we creating avenues for channelizing that energy? And if a child is not good in studies, to find out why this child is not good in studies. Maybe the child is very good in art, maybe the child is good in music, maybe the child is good in sports. Like in a good school, if anybody has gone to a school which they look back today and feel proud of it, right? I mean, all of us can probably look back at our schooling and say either feel that अच्छा हो गया वहाँ से निकल गए, और फील दैट वाओ आई वेंट टू सच अ गुड स्कूल. तो उसमें डिफरेंस आपको दिखेगा, नॉट पढ़ाई बट जो बाकी चीज़ स्कूल में होता है, जो दोस्तियाँ स्कूल में बनती हैं, जो टीचर्स आपको मिलते हैं जो आपको इंस्पायर करते हैं, जो आपने कुछ अलग एक्सपीरियंस किया, आपको 10 लोगों के सामने खड़े होके कुछ बोलने का मौका मिला, आपको संगीत का एक इंटरेस्ट आ गया, there was a music club in your school, या स्पोर्ट्स में आपने जो सीखा, it is those experiences which carry you through in life. Now whether the same quality of intervention is happening in the schools in which many of these kids are growing up. So I'm saying that the dropping out of school is a symptom of a larger malaise, and the larger malaise is the way in which our schools are being run. Because if our schools were being run in a creative manner, then many of these children would not drop out. There would be other ways to channelize the energies of these children. But we have only one way, कि मतलब कैसे भी करके 10th complete करो. Suppose there was a group of children who are not fitting into the formal, उसी system में you can have the open schooling option and some other interests which can be catered to. But हमारा जो पूरा system है, it is working in a kind of a blinkers लगा के, because I suppose we are dealing with larger social problems. We are a country which is in the process of development. and we are the second largest population in the world. All our problems are large problems, and resources are never enough. So in that probably somewhere all these creative things that we talk about, which we are talking from a bottom up perspective, because we are seeing at things as a micro level, and from a micro level we can say ye hona chahiye, wo hona chahiye, but the policy maker is sitting there at the macro level, and they are probably seeing things in a slightly different way, and they are looking at larger outcomes. They are not interested in these smaller outcomes that you and me in this podcast are talking about. For them this is वो क्या बोलते हैं ना, एक फनलिंग हो रहा है, एक फनल है, वो फनल में से ये तो रेसिड्यू है, तो रेसिड्यू में अपने को इंटरेस्ट ही नहीं है. रेसिड्यू में अगर वो अपना सीख गया तो वो सुधर जाएगा और आगे अपना कुछ कर लेगा, और नहीं तो वी आर देयर टू टेक केयर. पुलिस है, कोर्ट है, इंस्टीट्यूशन है, इनको हम संभाल लेंगे. अगर ये नहीं सुधरे तो सिस्टम, क्रिमिनल जस्टिस सिस्टम तैयार है उनको प्रोसेस करने के लिए. सो व्हेन वी सी कि इनको सिटीजन के तौर पे देखो, इनको ऐसे देखो, इनको वैसे देखो, probably the larger system is saying we don't have the time for all this, right? We are looking at larger numbers, and in that larger numbers अगर ये fit हो गए तो ठीक है, नहीं तो हमारा criminal justice system है to deal with them.
Thank you sir. Moving ahead sir, like after क्या रिहा होने के बाद भी बच्चे अपराध, like are there repetition of offenses sometimes?
See, आपको पहले देखना पड़ेगा कि क्राइम का मतलब क्या है. ओके, किसी के जिंदगी में क्राइम उसके लाइफ में क्या मायने रखता है, जिसको हम क्राइम बोलते हैं. अभी समझो एक लड़का है जो एक ग्रुप में था, और वो ग्रुप चेन स्नैचिंग करता था. ओके, और वो भी उस ग्रुप का मेंबर था, और उस इवेंट में पकड़ा गया, और पकड़ाने के बाद अरेस्ट हो गया. अरेस्ट होने के बाद उसको संस्था में डाला गया, ऑब्जर्वेशन होम में उसको डाला गया. जुवेनाइल जस्टिस बोर्ड ने उसके फैमिली का रिपोर्ट मंगवाया प्रोबेशन ऑफिसर से. प्रोबेशन ऑफिसर ने रिपोर्ट दिया कि घर की परिस्थिति बहुत ही ख़राब है, उसके फादर तो है ही नहीं, माँ अकेली 5 बच्चों को संभाल रही है, तो ये बच्चा जो है फैमिली एनवायरनमेंट में ठीक से बड़ा नहीं हो पाएगा, इसलिए इसको हमें संस्था में डालना चाहिए 18 साल पूरा होने तक. अब ये 18 साल पूरा होने तक, उस वक्त हो सकता है वो 12 साल का था या 15 साल का था, जो बाकी का जो टाइम है उसका कैसे गुजरा वहाँ, ये सबसे पहला फैक्टर. वहाँ उनकी किसके साथ दोस्तियाँ हुई, और उसका मेंटल मेकअप टुवर्ड्स द वर्ल्ड क्या बना, ये एक साइड में है. दूसरा, बाहर आने के बाद उसके पास क्या सपोर्ट्स थे, क्या उसका परिवार आके उसको ले गया, या उसका कोई नहीं था, वो रास्ते में चला गया, वापस फुटपाथ पे गया, वहाँ उसकी फिर से कोई दूसरे लोगों से दोस्तियाँ बनी, और फिर हो सकता है उसमें किसी प्रकार का एडिक्शन भी हो गया जो उसका ऑलरेडी अंदर हो चुका था, वही एडिक्शन बाहर आने के बाद बढ़ गया. अब इस कॉन्टेक्स्ट में वो किसी ग्रुप का भाग बन गया, जिसके लिए अब लगता है कि यही रास्ता है और कोई दूसरा रास्ता नहीं है. सो व्हेन यू से कि रिपीट करते हैं या नहीं, इट ऑल डिपेंड्स ऑन व्हाट हैज़ बीन द जर्नी ऑफ दैट पर्सन inside the institution and after coming out of the institution. How are we preparing a child or a young person to face the outside world when the child or that person is in the institution? Because that was the purpose of that institution.
Yes, sir.
What was the purpose of that institution? To make sure that this person comes out as a better person, better equipped to deal with life situations. And what are we doing in turn? So I would say अगर रेसिडिविज्म, जिसको क्रिमिनोलॉजी में रेसिडिविज्म बोलते हैं, रिपीट ऑफेंसेस की आप बात कर रहे हो, अगर रिपीट ऑफेंसेस हो रहा है तो वो उस बच्चे का या उस यूथ का फॉल्ट नहीं है, वो इंस्टीट्यूशनल सिस्टम का फॉल्ट है, बिकॉज दे हैव नॉट बीन एबल टू डील विद दैट इशू प्रॉपरली. मैं तो बोलूँगा कि 80-20, 80% द फॉल्ट लाइज विद द सिस्टम, 20% may be individual factors. Both inside and outside, what systems have we created for people when they come out from institutions? At least in the case of juveniles, children in conflict with law, there is a concept of aftercare. There are aftercare homes जहाँ हॉस्टल के तरह लोग रह सकते हैं. एटलीस्ट महाराष्ट्र में ऐसे 2 या 3 आफ्टरकेयर या 4 आफ्टरकेयर हॉस्टल्स हैं. एक तो चेंबूर में है, जहाँ संस्था से बाहर आए बच्चे वहाँ रह सकते हैं अगर उनका कोई नहीं है. अप टू 2 ईयर, 21 कंप्लीट होने तक वो वहाँ हॉस्टल में रह सकते हैं. बट व्हाट अबाउट एडल्ट्स? जब कोई जेल के बाहर निकलता है उसके लिए क्या सपोर्ट्स अवेलेबल हैं कि अगर वो चाहता है कि मैं वापस क्राइम में ना जाऊँ, उसके लिए रहने के लिए शेल्टर नहीं है. टेम्पररी शेल्टर तो कम से कम होना चाहिए. उसके पास कोई डॉक्यूमेंट नहीं है जिसके बेसिस पे वो जॉब मांगे. इनफैक्ट वो अगर किसी जॉब के लिए अप्लाई करता है तो मोस्ट ऑफ द कंपनीज टुडे आर आस्किंग फॉर पुलिस वेरिफिकेशन. तो पुलिस वेरिफिकेशन करवाएंगे तो वहाँ आएगा कि उसका अरेस्ट हुआ था पहले, तो उसको कौन जॉब देगा? गवर्नमेंट खुद. जब आप किसी गवर्नमेंट जॉब के लिए अप्लाई करते हो तो उसमें एक कॉलम होता है, हैव यू एवर बीन कन्विक्टेड बिफोर? सो हाउ कैन द गवर्नमेंट have a policy of not taking people when they have completed the punishment for which they have been caught? This is a matter which at some point someone should take to court, saying कि how are you having a policy where you are asking have you ever been convicted before?
Definitely, sir. Sir, like although the time is very short, and like we would love to learn more from you, sir. Sir, this would be the last question. According to you, what are the top 3 ways to prevent children from entering crime?
So firstly, I would say education system को ठीक करो. Once a child has entered the juvenile justice system, make sure that child goes out as an educated person. Educated in terms of degree, educated in terms of attitudes, educated in terms of knowledge, etc. etc. Give that person the best possible education. Invest in education.
Yes.
Number 1. Number 2, prepare that child for life skills. You know, in terms of relationships, in terms of how to maintain family relationships, how to build your social skills. Many of these people who end up in crime are people with poor social skills. Why does a person become violent? See, if I'm not able to communicate what I want to communicate to you, तो गुस्सा तभी आता है ना इंसान को, जब मैं जो बोलना चाह रहा हूँ आप अगर if I find the words to say what I want to say, तो मुझे गुस्सा नहीं आएगा क्योंकि मैं अपनी बात कह पाऊँगा. लेकिन जब मैं अपनी बात ही नहीं कह पा रहा हूँ तो वो गुस्सा बिल्डअप हो रहा है. So you are also dealing with people whose social skills are by and large not as good, you know, compared to the others. In fact, today with the internet generation, that is one of the major crises.
Yes.
That young people's social skills are very poor, and that is why they are not able to communicate things on a face-to-face situation.
Yes,
and it's a serious mental health crisis that's looming large. Just today's Hindustan Times, you know, Krishna Kumar, the very well-known educationist, has written an article on a book that has recently come out about adolescence, not the serial adolescence, which has become very famous, but this book that he has talked about, where he is saying that it's an age of anxiety. Young people are much more anxious today than what they were earlier, and he has put it down to 3 factors: social deficit, then deficit in terms of communication, and one more thing, addiction. These are the 3 reasons why young people are today much more anxious than what our generation used to be. So that's the second thing. And the third thing is build their connections with society, networks. Your job as a social worker, as a person working in the field of rehabilitation space has to make sure that their networks increase, social networks. Because जब किसी का social network संकुचित होता है तो उसको लगता है कि मेरे पास कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है. जब आपको लगेगा कि मेरे पास ऑप्शंस हैं, मैं अकेला नहीं हूँ, मैं इसके पास जा सकता हूँ, मैं, तो आपका you don't get pushed into a corner. A person who takes to crime is a person who has got pushed, who feels pushed to a corner. Not necessarily that objectively he or she is pushed to a corner, but there is a feeling of being pushed to the corner. And being pushed to the corner means you don't see options in front of you. So when you see options in front of you, your mind opens up. Then you don't go for some irrational kind of behavior. You feel that I'm living in a world where there are possibilities. We all need to create a space where we feel that there are possibilities. चलो ये नहीं तो वो नहीं तो वो, ये फीलिंग आना चाहिए ना. ये जो है कि ये मेरे को कैसे भी चाहिए. मैं तो कैंपस इंटरव्यूज़ के बारे में सब स्टूडेंट्स को बोलता हूँ, ये क्या भाग दौड़ है कि इसी कैंपस में ही मेरे को जॉब मिलना चाहिए. कैंपस में तो 0% भी 0.01 कंपनीज भी तो यहाँ नहीं आते हैं. आपको अगर अपने ऊपर कॉन्फिडेंस है तो आपको कहीं ना कहीं तो मिल ही जाएगा ना जॉब. फिर ये टेंशन क्यों, ये स्ट्रेस क्यों? बिकॉज यू फील कि और कोई ऑप्शन नहीं है मेरे पास. और दूसरा है, हम कंपेयर करते हैं कि उसको मिल गया, उसको मिल गया, उसको मिल गया. एनीवे, आई थिंक आई हैव एक्सीडेड माय ब्रीफ.
But very fruitful conversation.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
One last comment on this week. I think it was not addressed. Like you said, no, कि वो जाते हैं. There is some system where even the people are released with a new identity.
यहाँ तो ये सब होता नहीं है.
क्योंकि क्या होता है ना,
That is Witness Protection Act.
Witness Protection Act. And that is nothing like that exists in our country.
Yeah. Do you think there is a need for anything?
Yeah, witness protection definitely, but this requires a whole infrastructure of facilities. If you want somebody to come back into the mainstream, you need to really create an architecture of support services.
Yes, support system should be there. Like
We'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
yes, thank you, sir.